just because he's such a beefy hero, hits harder than anyone else really in the game at level 1, and has Treant armor on top of that. If you just get like a good sentry down, and you can stop Funnick from getting that early couple of levels, like level 3 to 5, delaying that is very, very important to ensure that Loda can find his farm.
Is there any possibility of Alliance going offensive tri-lane against a low-range Navi safe lane?
I suppose you could do that. I mean, if you put the Treant and the Bane, that support combination in the very early levels is significantly stronger than a Shaker and a Venge. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah, they just run in and punch people.
Those heroes would be able to trade very, very effectively, but then you're matching up the Beastmaster, I guess, 1 versus 1 against the Brood. I think for Alliance, it would be more beneficial to ensure that Funnick does not get off the ground quickly, because then you're guaranteeing during the mid-game that you would need to just address him constantly, and that can be a huge hindrance if your game plan is to try to make it to that late-game phase and allow your Loda PL to get the farm.
Well, we'll talk about the lanes later because the game has begun. Alliance playing on the Radiant side. Loda will be playing your Phantom Lancer. Effing mad on that Bane. We have Ammo Bulldog helping out on the bottom Brune for now with the Beastmaster, but he'll walk up top. Pycat playing the Shadow Fiend at the mid lane, and last but not least, Ake playing Treant Protector, a hero that we don't see too often anymore, but when Treant was in his heyday, this man played it very well and played it a lot.
30 seconds to
Indeed, he did. On the side of NaVi, first here we're going to have Funnick. He's going to be handling that Broodmother towards the top room. We're going to have Dendi playing Queen of Pain. Havos playing on the Lycan. Artstyle is handling the Vengeful Spirit. And then finally, Sonico playing on one of his signature heroes in the Shaker.
It looks like Alliance is going to dodge. PL sitting in the top lane for now.
They could just be contesting here. Oh no, they are dodging. They're sending Bulldog bottom.
Beastmaster is the bottom lane, and it looks like we're going to see a level 1 fight. Fissure hits on 3. Dendi in a lot of trouble. Does he have Blink skill? He does. He's going to get out in harm's way. Now Alliance, Loda in the middle of everything. Core Mashio doing some working. He's going to jump out. First blood goes to Alliance, and the chase goes the other way. There is going to be, well, there's no Nightmare because he skilled Brain Stab, which was a big part of him getting that kill. He gets salved up, so huge win for Alliance. I believe they also got both the Bounty Rune. That's a huge advantage for Alliance at the start of the game.
Not only both Bounty Runes, but Pycat gets first blood on top of that. So he needs 1 CS to be able to get his bottle. He wants to go for a kill on Dendi. Blink just in time. That was close. The other problem, too, is that Dendi's going to have to ferry himself out of salve if he just wants to sit in this lane at all. So there was 2 horrible things. First, dying, and then Dendi not able to contest the wave, even a little bit. Like, look at his health. If he walks into a random raise, which Pycat doesn't have mana for right now, he would just straight up die.
And he had to get Blink, right? A big form of your lane control earlier on. The whole thought Sonico, though, give him the right click, doing a ton of damage. There's that style being ferried by Dendi, but I mean, it's already a huge laning disadvantage for him. We saw what Dendi was able to do once he got off a huge advantage yesterday with Shadow Fiend. And I think Pycat is definitely a skill enough player to do exactly the same. Dendi should have a very tough time. And Sonico is going to have to do a lot here. And he's doing quite a bit here, harassing Pycat. Is Pycat going to die? He does have the bottle. He's toggling the regen right now, but the right clicks are coming in. Sonico's chasing. Looks like the kill is going to go towards Dendi. Very good way of salvaging this lane, which I thought was almost unrecoverable.
They needed that so bad. Interesting, though, that Pycat ends up getting caught out with even a high ground ward. Like, he knew that Sonico was standing there the entire time. There was no question. Just a little bit surprising that he let himself get that low.
Sonico doing even more damage, dropping a ward on a very normal pull camp on the bottom, on the safe side of the Radiant jungle. No more of that Shadow Fiend stacking. How's that bottom lane going here with the Brood versus the Beastmaster matchup?
Well, Broodmother is not known for her extremely high base damage in the early levels, whereas Beastmaster hits really hard with just 1 branch. Level 3, 71 base damage. Compare that to the 49 of the Brood. So in
not to factor the boar in as well.
The boar is also very good, but this lane will become more and more lopsided as Funnick gets levels. In the early stage, Bulldog will be more than fine.
Yeah, that base armor also allowed him to tank the creep wave a bit, or tank the Broodmother a bit as well. Top lane looking, I mean, this is the lane that Alliance should be really winning hard because of the first blood, as well as the bounty runes. And as you expect, you know, Lycan's going to have a little bit of tough time farming the lane. He's only got 4 CS to Loda, who's leading the farm chart right now.
I think this top lane is really a lot of where Alliance want to apply the pressure, keeping the Lycan away from just getting a Vlad's or getting a book, allowing him to kill Roshan. That's what they want to prevent in the early game by going aggressive. Their supports are much, much better at zoning in general. If you get caught out by a random leech seed from Ake, or you get nightmared and you're not in a good position, NaVi might just have to straight up sacrifice a hero, because it's going to be leech seed into Spirit Lance, and that is a significant amount of slow and a lot of damage to deal with just 2 pretty mediocre disables. And also keep in mind that Sanako has had to spend a lot of his time in the early game walking between middle and bottom to try to secure at least his middle lane some kind of comeback, and then maybe try to make something happen on bottom too. But Bulldog's just a bit too tanky for that right now.
I think strategically, this is the best thing that NaVi could have done this after that start, right? I think Earthshaker being top, you're still not winning that lane. You're preventing some kills, that's definitely true, but I think it's more important for him to disappear off the map to cause havoc on the mid lane. I mean, if he did not get the kill on the Shadow Fiend on the mid lane, there is no mid lane for NaVi. The fact that they have done it is a pretty big deal. So Nico is now trying to threaten for another Fissure, but a nicely placed Hawk on top of him will scout out his rotation.
Now Pycat's going to be pretty far back here, walking Courier. Dendi going in, gets the Shadow Strike off, almost needs a double raise, but he will be able to retreat to safety. I think the rune control is actually more what NaVi want to go for, on top of the fact that they're also pressuring Pycat heavily, is if you get both those runes, you take him away from Pycat, you make him Bottle Crow even more, and you also have the opportunity to get a very good rune like a haste or a double damage, which could result in another kill on Pycat. And Alliance's supports are not prioritizing him at all. Like, they are just staying top, they're stopping the Lycan from getting farm, and they're helping Loda. So this SF, he doesn't have supports right now.
Yeah, he's, you know, doing fine without that support. Havos goes in the jungle that actually just farms up a camp, which, I mean, he's not getting much farm on the lane itself.
Oh, they're actually rotating out now. Okay.
Yeah, I think right now PL is big enough to zone out the lane. Well, not zone out the lane, but stay in the lane by himself. Back in the mid lane, though, so Neko a little bit of trouble. Trian still very slow. And then able to come in for that leech seed.
The two supports actually just rotating in from Alliance to secure Pycat at least one of the runes, realizing that without their help it would be very difficult for Pycat to continue this kind of laning phase. And Fucking Mad might be in some trouble here. Just Fissure down the high ground, gonna tank some creeps. I don't think Dendi wants to commit that with Pycat nearby.
So what is the turning point for NaVi? Because we talked about that they want the Lycan Necro book for that early Roche, but that's not happening because of Alliance's early game aggression. Then how does the game turn for them? Well, are we waiting for Dendi to get a double kill out of nowhere? Are we waiting for the Blue Mother to knock down T1 towers?
The teleport reaction gank from Dendi is always going to be really strong, so if Alliance ever start going aggressive on maybe the safe laner or the off laner, you can definitely make some kind of rotation happen, but I think they're kind of just waiting it out, letting Funnick get to a point where he becomes a very big nuisance, and Alliance are forced to react to him, because that's when you can start making things happen with your Queen, start relieving a little bit of pressure off of your safe lane Lycan, and allow Havos to start to recover.
Yeah, and the fact that Funnick's on that bottom lane will mean that the T1 and T2 eventually will get sieged down, which will give NaVi more room for that Roshan play a little bit later on in the game. But both teams very content to farm or prevent the other team from farming right now. Pycat actually slowed down his farm quite a bit. One part of it is, you know, the Earthshaker constantly being there. Hold that dot. Admiral Bulldog in a lot of trouble on the bottom lane. The spiders are gaining up on him. Like you said, as the lane goes on, it's really Blue Mother's lane, and Blue Mother will draw that kill on the bottom and continue to harass that tier 1 tower. Well played.
I do like the fact that Alliance are actually not putting too much emphasis on the Brood, because if you do that, then the point of going aggressive in the first place is moot. Like, you wanted to stop the Lycan from farming, they're sticking to their game plan and not letting Havos get to his early Vlad's early Necrobook timing, because that would be, I think, maybe even more impactful than just letting that safe flank kind of fall a bit. But Blink behind the tower here, Pycat in some trouble. Dendi, he has the Sonic Wave available, pops it, one more last hit, and he'll take down Pycat. Bulldog in the area, throws out the ward, teleport reaction coming in from him. He does secure a kill onto Sonico, and they make it a 1-for-1.
Do you feel that the supports are just not doing enough for the side of Alliance? Yes, they're not helping out on the bottom lane, and that's a strategic choice. By the way, that bottom lane, tier 1 tower will go down. They're not helping out mid lane either, so yes, they're shutting down the Lycan, at least momentarily, but Lycan's in the jungle safely farming. I feel like the supports need to either follow him into the jungle or start helping out the other lanes, because Pycat, as well as Admiral Bulldog's having a lot of trouble.
I think their mentality is, and might have to hold that thought, is Arsenal. It's going to get Nightmare down to the tower here. It could be a very easy kill for Alliance, and in fact it is. Lotus secures that one with the Spirit Lance. But as far as the supports on Alliance, I don't really think that... If you have a PL on your team, and you're going ultra late against NaVi, there is the fear of the Shaker and the Queen, but the rest of the side of NaVi don't really have the tools to deal with a very fed Phantom Lancer, and Loda is very proficient on the hero. So I would say that keeping the Lycan down means that you have a better chance of making it to that late game, because he's the hero who will actually be able to break the high ground.
But is Lycan being kept down? That's my question, because right now Havos is having not exactly a time of his life in the jungle, but he's farming.
He's farming okay. But I mean, this is, again, the game plan that they've adopted, and I think sticking to it is probably a better idea than just saying, oh, maybe we need to try to do something else. Because really, you don't have Fiend Script, you don't have Overgrowth. Killing Funnick in the first place is going to be very, very difficult unless you have like a Dust and a Roar coming out from Bulldog. So if they can coordinate those ganks, then that's okay. But I think for now, Alliance are not feeling too worried about the situation.
Well, NaVi seems like their game plan is clear as effing Mad gets fissured. The Spiders, though, will just kind of easily walk over that Big Earth and gets a kill. How is that even logic? It's not. Dota, what a game.
I mean, Spiders are scary when you can leave them to their own devices, at least in this lane. That last pick from NaVi proving to be very fruitful here in the first 8 or so minutes of this game. They're going to spot out Pycat on the high ground as well, but diving this deep, probably not what they want to go for. And again, it's all about biding time for Alliance at this point. If Pycat can get to an early, well, anything timing at this point, as he doesn't even have finished treads, he's going to need to get those before he even thinks about mech or BKB. It will also do work. But if he can get something going for himself, and Loda can get up his Diffusal Blade, maybe an Anta, I think they'll be well into the game.
Yeah. Nice design by Wolves, denying that with the Wolves. Well done. It's very clear what the game plan here for NaVi is. They want to put a ton of pressure on that mid lane, continue to shut down the Shadow Fiend, as their Lycan is being slowed down themselves. And I think a weak Shadow Fiend in this mid game is going to be problematic for Alliance. I think mech is kind of what they need to tide their sort of weak mid game to allow the PL to grow strong. Do you think that's going to be his item choice, or are we looking at something like a BKB or perhaps even a Yule Scepter?
I think BKB is the safest possible choice for his own survival. If he's looking to fight around his team, then mech is probably just as good, if not better, especially considering the cost. But if you get BKB, you can pretty much live every time. Dust gonna scout out here. Hawk is popped. Funnick is spotted, but he doesn't take any damage, so he's not gonna get his pathing broken inside of the web. They really, really want to kill this Brood. Getting him out of the jungle would be awesome for Alliance if they can manage to make it happen. Does not look like that's gonna be the case, though.
Well, the fact that they already spent so much resource and time just on this Brood, I think it's already kind of worth it. Funnick's still dancing around. He's got that hand of Midas. He knows that this game is going to go long, and he will need all the gold he could get against that PL. You could actually just Midas a board and run, but it looks like he's just saving it for one of the bigger creeps in the jungle.
And he's holding onto it for a very long time, actually. There we go. Finally pops it. Spots out Ake in the bottom lane.
Top lane looks like PL in a little bit of trouble here. He can actually just jump away with double ganker. No, it's been on cooldown for about 9 more seconds. Arstyle not in range to drop off that magic missile.
He's actually fairly tanky with just having those drums, and a lot of Phantom Lancer players end up putting many points in the stats. Needs to be careful though. Fissure Lance still has the doppelganger up. He's going to get a tree armor from Ake, and he'll be safe for the time being.
Bottom lane, Funnick's going to get a solo kill against 2 heroes in lane. Here comes Dendi. A little bit slow starting the game, but here comes a Sonic Wave. One more nuke shoot did the job, and NaVi just picking apart the map of Alliance, at least on the bottom half. Look at the amount of wardage on the mid lane. Look at the amount of control in the Radiant jungle. I feel like there's nobody in the Alliance side that could come into this jungle without 3 or 4 heroes that could ward away this Broodmother. He's just causing so much havoc.
To be honest, I would say Navi's jungle is maybe safer for Alliance than their own jungle at this point. It's just too difficult to track down the Broodmother at this point. But that's kind of what we knew Navi's game plan was. As soon as Alliance decided to go aggressive and dodge keeping Funnick down, that lane will eventually get overrun by the Brood. It just happens. There's not many matchups that hero loses in a 1 versus 1 setting, so they had to, in the back of their minds, know that it would reach this point to some degree. Maybe not as extreme as it is right now, because I think that's the second time that fucking Mad got caught out and just ended up dying solo in the woods. But top lane, Havol's taking some damage here under the tower. No teleport reaction coming in yet from the side of NaVi. I don't think Loda wants to go too deep on this, but there is a rotation coming in from NaVi. Triple smoke.
Yeah, both teams are smoking up, and they're kind of going around the same place. The center of attention will be Loda. Loda does have drums. The Fissure is going to hit, but looks like Loda will... Well, he actually get off the spell, but a couple of nukes will do it. Meanwhile, on the back line here, Soneko drops the Echo Slam, but not hitting much. Effing Mad getting a magic missile. Looks like Queen of Pain is going to be the first one to drop. Loda somehow survives, and the chase goes the other way. Emerald Bulldog still does not have the Beastmaster Roar. Looks like no, he just used it. And that will be it for the engagement. Back in the mid lane, teleport coming in. Funnick still causing havoc everywhere he goes.
I think Bulldog TP'd just to make sure that Pycat didn't get dove there. It would have been a very hairy situation otherwise. And yeah, Funnick has been kind of the standout for me. Playing this Brood, hasn't died a single time, 4-0, sitting on 2,800 gold and a Midas. He doesn't even have to buy boots. He's 501 movement speed inside of his web without having any boots at all.
What do you think his second item choice will be?
I guess you could go all in and just go for book, right? I mean, that's not bad. If you want to play ultra safe, you can go BKB, and you are pretty much unkillable, but I think that's almost overkill. Does he actually need BKB right now?
I mean, this is one of the worst BKB games, right? Considering that there is Fiend's Grip, Beastmaster Roar, as well as Overgrowth.
Yeah, so, I don't think it's very good, but if you wanted to just be like, I can never die,
yeah,
it's still a decent item. He goes back for the treads, which I think is still fair. He's level 11 now, so that flat damage bonus that he gets from Insatiable Hunger means that the attack speed bonus from having treads and Midas makes him a very, very high kill threat in a one-on-one situation.
So now Loda shifts to the bottom side of the map. Do you think now Alliance will start putting more focus in their own jungle, start moving around with 3-4 heroes, de-warding, warding up, making sure this Broodmother is pushed back? Or are we going to see more of the same place out for Alliance, focusing on the top half of the map?
I don't think at this point that it's really worth trying to hold down the Lycan anymore. Once he has his Vlads, and even the Medallion picked up now in Art Style, NaVi are going to be heading into the Roshan pit here, so there is a possibility that this just dies before Alliance know. They are heading into the area. Could see a fight break out here.
Yeah, Rosh is strong very quickly, and with the Roshan going down, I don't think they can. And they have to deal with Funnick as well with a huge power spider. Fissure hits on everyone. Loaded trap on the wrong side. Swap it in towards the Lycan, and Lycan chewing him alive. He can't even get off the double ganger. Huge ultimate coming out from Dendi. They want Pycat. They see Pycat, and Pycat trying to fight his way out. He's going on Dendi. Dendi, man fighting. He does have the Aegis though. Not exactly the worst trade for the Shadow Fiend, who was doomed to die anyways, taking down Dendi with him. But right now, NaVi overrunning Alliance on the side of the Radiant jungle.
That was just an unfortunate start to the fight for Alliance, because I think Loda used his Doppelganger to scout with illusions to see if they were in the pit in the first place. But I'm not sure if there was no Hawk or what, because normally, if you have Beastmaster, you just let Bulldog scout the pit for you, unless the Hawk had died somehow. But either way, not really the engagement that Alliance were looking for. They're going to have to really just dig their heels in and try to turtle this out now, because with that Aegis up, or excuse me, the Aegis got expended by Dendi when he killed the Shadow Fiend, but still, I guess that might be kind of a hidden good thing for Alliance, is that the Aegis didn't end up like breaking down a tier 2 tower, or even a tier 1, for example. Like their tier 1 middle lane, their tier 1 top lane is still alive. They've lost 1 tower to this Brood so far, and I think that is kind of a blessing for Alliance.
It is a blessing. At the same time, I think what Alliance has trouble with, at least in the next 10 to 20 minutes, is that their support are very underfarmed compared to what Navi's got. If you look at the Vengeful Spirit, she's got a Medallion Courage. If you look at Soneko, he's very close to a Blink Dagger, which will spell big trouble in the coming mid game. Whereas, I mean, look at the Bane, he's got Dust. If you look at the Tree, he's got Arcane Boots, which is not terrible, but it's just a different tier of item to what Navi support are getting. And I think a big part of that is the fact that these two supports on the Navi side are going around to get kills, and the Alliance supports are going around to find a Brood that they never had hopes of killing.
Yeah, their supports just don't really do well against Brood in general. Even just having like Loda in the woods down here with fucking Mad, like he has his Fiend's Grip available now, but before there was just absolutely no way they were going to have a chance of killing Funnick unless he gets caught out by Roar. But having multiple tools to take him out is going to be a good thing. So the higher level their supports get, I think they could potentially start turning things around. Overgrowth available on Ake, Fiend's Grip now on fucking Mad, and of course I do have the Beastmaster's Roar. So the lockdowns, they're there, and they can find kills.
They're just not finding the heroes.
Yeah.
At least not right now. Havo's coming in, though. He is going to get Roared, I think. They're now chasing on Pycat. Pycat does have to leave him more. Here comes a Beastmaster Roar, but where's the damage? Here comes Ake as well. He's looking for the Overgrowth. He doesn't hit anything, and now the Big Bad Wolf running back in. So Neko on the left side in a lot of trouble. Dendi coming in as well. This is a chaotic team fight. Double Ganger being used. Arstyle now being focused by PL. Can she make it out? Looks like she will not. Great raid by Pycat, and somehow Alliance Trace decently 2 for 2. They lose the offlane Beastmaster, but critically, Loda and Pycat benefiting from those kills.
Did he actually not hit anything with his Overgrowth there? That was really weird.
Yeah, he didn't hit anybody.
He maybe overestimated the range a tiny bit, because it is fairly large.
Yeah.
So I can understand like trying to get somebody on the edge or going for 2 and managing to kind of split the wickets with that one. But I think if that Overgrowth had landed, the fight would have been much more lopsided in favor of Alliance, because that was a very good bait. They immediately get a Roar on the highest damage dealer in that situation, outside of the Queen, which is obviously Havost and the Lycan. And then they just trap out Sonico on the side, and I think they would have been able to just take him straight away had that not been the case. But still, that puts Pycat at his mechanism now. so they're going to have another teamfight utility available for them. And the more time that they buy, the better it is. Even though Funnick is still farming away, he actually goes for a Desolator, by the way. So he will deal a ton of right-click damage and be able to take down towers if he's left alone too much longer. But this does make him squishy, too. He's only got around 1,200 health with the Strength Treads on, so a Roar plus one other person can easily take him out now.
Yeah, I mean, the Deso is nice for damage output, but we are seeing the fact that Trina is being sort of annoying in Brood's shoes, because normally Broodmother slowly whittles away your T2 tower. He's not whittling away anything. That T2 on the bottom lane, very healthy, thanks to Living Armor. So that's why we see that Broodmother not really having too big of a power effect. Mid lane style is just running away, and the boars are not fast enough to catch up.
And then they use the Yules to stop the Fiends. He blinks back in. Echo Slam coming out from Sonico. They're going right onto Pycat. Art Style dropping really low. Does eventually go down here to Bulldog. It's going to be a double for the Bulldog. The Overgrowth comes out. Havos now in trouble, still in the shapeshift form. He's going to try to make his way out. Dendi also forced a blink back. A 2-for-0 exchange with a blink being revealed, and Echo Slam not even resulting in one kill.
I mean, that was 100% the mech, right? Shadow Fiend dropped so low, but immediately got mech'd up. Bottle as well, and they're pushing the other way. Broodmother, what can she do now? She's going to try to pressure the bottom, but I don't think she's going to get that tier 2, simply, again, thanks to the fact that Living Armor is going to make it slower. Great deny by Dendi, though, lessening the stab a little bit.
I mean, Funnick keeps a tower. It's not a total disaster for Na'Vi. The Echo Slam, I was really expecting it to do a little bit more, honestly. Like, going in and getting an Echo on the Pycat like that should have resulted in a pretty easy kill, but Ake was there with a very, very nice Overgrowth, and Bulldog casually just dying to Ancients over here. No big deal. And we're going to see another smoke from the side of Na'Vi. There is no Echo, but Dendi does have his ulti.
It feels like the Na'Vi core is just not having a big impact right now. Dendi dropping the Roar. I mean, I think a big part of that is the draft that Lions have. Their heroes they're just tanky.
Yeah, they're all tanky. That's kind of what we're talking about. Is the only one who can really be bursted, if you want to call it that, is probably the Shadow Fiend, and even he's got a mech.
PL's gonna get bursted as everybody has blink, so they could go from high ground to low ground. But Pycat, huge Sonic Requiem, so call it Sonic Wave.
Sonic Requiem.
Yeah, Sonic Requiem of Black Souls, as he just deletes Sonico from the map.
That was a very nice pickup there. Good timing, to say the least. He's at 2,000 gold now as well. So after his mech, he can go for BKB if he wants. It's still pretty good. I'm not sure if it's that good against the Lycan team, though. Like, I'm kind of debating if it's even really worth it. Maybe just go for stats. Like, SNY wouldn't be too bad, just to beef yourself up a tiny bit. Scotty is also pretty good against the Broodmother.
You're talking about Pycat?
Yeah, for Shadow Fiend. Because I don't know if... Like, BKB is still good.
I'm not averse going into something... Oh... Funnick looks like he gets Overgrowth and then Beastmaster Roared and probably Vincere after as well. Funnick looks like he had a great game, but the Alliance Gang party has finally found him, and that's a key kill because we leave a lot of pressure on the bottom half of the map. Top lane, though, T1 tower, a lot of trouble. Pycat trying to run away from the big bad wolf, but the TP is going to come in. Arstyle being left alone. He's going to swap, but into his doom. Alliance making a strong recovery in this mid game. And again, Living Armor is going to keep all of these outer towers alive.
Dendi, he's going in. He wants his kill. He's got a couple of bottle charges left. He needs him to teleport in. Dendi not wanting to pursue this any farther. There is no teleport action from Alliance, and there's also somebody coming around from the back. It's Sonico. He's got the Fissure and Vincere available. He's got the Blink. They don't see him. Okay, there we go. Blink forward into the Echo Slam. I was going to say, he might not have seen him because
his TP's on CD, though, so he can't make it out. This is essentially a suicide mission.
But nobody else is TPing, and there's no Fiends.
Well,
can he actually kill him? I don't think he can kill him. He needs another person. Here we go. Ake's coming in from the side. Oh, the blink over!
This
Sonico, what a player!
I mean, this is the most clowny game where, like, you dive under a T2 tower, you don't have a way to TP out, but the supports just can't lock you down. In fact, he's going back in. Here's a Fissure for you, effing man. And he's going for the kill? Are you kidding me? No, Dendi's coming in from the side to help out. How is he actually getting away with this? If I try this in a pub game, I get reported.
I don't think this is a pub game, but
I know. I mean,
he knew that Dendi was there. He preemptively bought the book and was just going to blink in to go in. So I don't really think it was too risky at all. Actually,
I'm talking about the previous play. Hobo's on the top lane, a lot of trouble as his mana being burned out. This PL is starting to become a huge issue. Teleport going into the mid lane here. Ake in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to get bailed out by his friend Loda. There's a straight roll on the back lane.
Bulldog catching out the Spider, got that book 3 in the Roar. That's going to be another kill going their way.
Arstyle's going to drop us while Loda picking it up. Alliance making magic happen. This is what normally NaVi is really good at, finding random kills everywhere. Alliance holding their own.
A lot of this has to do with two things. The strength of the Beastmaster during the mid game. Once the book 3 is picked up, his solo kill potential as an offlane position or even like a 1v1 that's not mid is almost unmatched. Like Bulldog will be able to solo kill any hero on the side of NaVi, maybe barring the Lycan inside of Aurora. Like that's just how much damage the book gives him with his inner beast aura and of course the axes on top of that. The other part is that Loda now having the Diffusal Blade and enough tankiness to live through a little bit of burst, he's now a huge kill threat on his own, even to supports. Like, if the Shaker gets caught out, or if the Venge, maybe even the Brood, you just die.
So are we starting to see that Alliance is going to have essentially a death grip on this mid to late game? Because, as we talked about, there's really no real way to deal with this PL. Apart from a Sonic Wave and an Echo Slam, which...
The Echo is still sufficient, though. That's the thing. In a team fight, if you land a big Echo, they can still easily take out Loda. It's not really the issue of being able to find the kill itself. It's that situation going to arise where we're going to have that 5 versus 5 clash. Because I think with the utilization of Beastmaster Hawk and a PL...
You think Alliance is going to dodge and...
I don't think they want to take like a straight-up 5v5 unless they have to.
Okay, so the first question about is... Can they, though? Can they actually take down Loda? We saw the fight in the mid lane where they went on the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend just got mech'd up. He kind of just, you know, tanked Magic Wand and then fought the other way. And also, if you burst down Loda, that's great and all, but once you expended all those spells just for Loda, what about the Beastmaster? What about the Shadow Fiend? Those are immediate threats that you also have to deal with if you're on the side of NaVi.
That is very true. But again, it all comes down to how the fight is played. If the Echo only hits on one, I can see your situation very easily arising, where you don't have enough in the tank to end up killing the other cores. That is very possible. But if for whatever reason, a handful of people get caught out at the same time, and there's 3 heroes on the side of Alliance that are melee, it is possible that you could get a good enough Echo to just win the fight straight up, and they're going to find Loda in the top lane with an Echo right now. Sonico and Hardstyle.
Confirmed.
They take him out.
They have enough damage.
As said, the Echo is sufficient.
It looks like it's going to be a nightmare straight into a TP out. No back off.
Yeah, nice move there from fucking Mad. Dendi actually manages to get his book 3 now. Very good pickup on the green.
Ovos giving chase to Pycat, and Pycat, he's got a Yule Scepter, so that means he's not making it out. He's trying to go for the Yule TP, and Artstyle, can he get close enough? He can't! What a play!
Middle tower is under attack.
Well done. And then take these Necrobooks, which, by the way, gives a pretty big bounty back in the mid lane. Teleports are coming in right now. And Funnick forced to run away. He's got to respect the lockdown power these supports have in this mid game. So, judging by the item choice of Dendi's Necro 3, it seems like NaVi want to really hardcore focus on the mid game. Do you feel like, first of all, this is the right choice? And second of all, whether it will work out or not?
I think Necro is always amazing on Queen in every single game. It's just a very strong item. It's not really one of those things that people often think about, but not just the ability to ward and scout out invisible units, but those things just hit really, really hard. Like you just saw Pycat almost get soloed by just books, and fucking Mad had to come in and finish one off just to make sure that the death didn't kill Pycat when you killed the melee one, but still...
That made no sense if you take it out of context. The death did not kill Pycat.
Yeah, but the death, whatever you want to call it. What is the mechanic?
Last will,
Last will, yeah. The last will didn't... Well, it would have killed him if he kept attacking it. But the point is that when you have an item like that, it just means that your team fights are so much stronger. And if somebody just happens to randomly kill on an accident with like axes or something, you can just burst a hero down on accident for free. And also the push potential is insane.
I totally agree with you about how Necrobook is excellent for this stage of the game.
Oh, Funnick.
That's a kill.
Yep, double raise. One more auto attack from Pycat. Gets it with ease. And they're going to spot out Sonico here on the bottom lane as well. But I'm pretty sure he's onto it. He does not want any part of this.
Go back off. The thing about going for Necrobook is, yes, it's great now. Unfortunately, it's not Agam's refresher in about 20 minutes. It's Beastmaster Roar top lane, and they're going to just get random kills all over the map. And now Havos in a lot of trouble as well. Yule Scepter brings him up. Sonic, no, not Sonic, wait. Sonic Requiem of Black Souls is going to bring him down very low, but no follow-up anymore as Beastmaster Roar has been expended.
Yeah, I mean, that one was a little bit, I think just to push him back, that's enough. Like, making sure that Havos doesn't make use of his Aegis. Just getting the tier 1 in the off lane is not really too big of a deal. Sonico going to get chased down here by some illusions. The Necro 3 from, I believe it was Dendi, yeah, who popped it, just helping him out a bit. I don't know. NaVi right now, they're kind of just getting picked a little bit too much. and their Broodmother is not really giving the same kind of effect that it was a little while ago. Even with his progression still remaining consistent, he's never really able to get to the base. And even if he does, it's for a very short amount of time. And if that happens, like you mentioned earlier, the Treant just heals the tower back to full health.
I mean, he's just afraid of that Beastmaster being one of it. And of course, the double support that could lock him down for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that NaVi is not having really much success by splitting up is that, Loda. That's the thing, like everybody on the side of the Alliance could either kill very quickly or hold them for such a long time for the cores to come in to kill. So, and they're kind of forced to play this split up Dota, which falls to prey to things like Beastmaster, Bane, and as well as Treant Protector.
The irony of it is, NaVi are actually ahead by a pretty significant margin when you just look at the golden experience graphs. We just saw it a second ago. But it doesn't really feel that way, the way the game's being played out. Because for some of the first times in the game, Alliance are able to reclaim their own jungle, they're actually applying pressure to the map of their own volition, and they're finding picks. So it's not like earlier where Fnatic was just sitting there and having 3 heroes with Benny Hill music on in the woods just trying to kill him. Now it's, okay, we're actually able to make our own moves. And as said yesterday by Cinder, one of the worst feelings in the world is not having map control, but Alliance have reestablished it for themselves.
And that sounds like it's a fine and dandy thing to say, but it was very difficult to do that against NaVi.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it was easy. I'm just saying they got to that point.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I just have to remind you guys that NaVi had like wards between T1 and T2 towers like 10 minutes ago, and they had Broodmother webs all over the Radiant jungle. It was just a really tough thing that Alliance was able to do, and they did it splendidly. Partially thanks to a little bit of random life throwing away by NaVi. Also, I think the map control is going to get much better once Treant Protector finishes his Aghanims. Ake slowly and quietly has been getting there, and he's almost there. Oh, here comes Fnatic. He wants to fight this Emerald Bullet will just simply blink away. And look at Fnatic. He's down to half HP and out of mana almost instantaneously from those books.
Yeah, he's got a soul ring, so he should be able to sustain mana enough to be able to at least continue the push, but again, that's the power of the book 3. And the same thing can be done from Dendy. All he has to do is throw out a Shadow Strike book and you get mana drained in a matter of seconds. And no one really on the side of the Alliance has a significant mana pool whatsoever, so if they put it on the tree, he's not going to be able to overgrowth. You can mana burn Loda if you catch him out with a stun and don't manage to actually kill him in the stun duration, but he's probably the most difficult hero to burn at this point.
NaVi making a big push down the mid lane right now, and that's tier 3 tower in a lot of trouble. Raises will lower the creep wave counts a bit, but NaVi will back out for now. Can NaVi actually make that kind of push, or are they just kind of doing it to get a little bit chip damage?
Oh, the chip damage is kind of useless.
Right, so I mean, what was the push really about then?
It could just be making the enemy team fall back. Now, Roshan is not going to be up for a little while, so normally you do those types of moves when you think somewhere in terms of, okay, Roshan's going to be up soon, or we want to try to force a reaction so we can either get the map control back for ourselves, or try to go back to like split pushing or something like that. But since Roshan's not up, I think it was just a... I don't want to call it like a power play, but when you have Lycan with 10-second BKB and Queen now with 10-second BKB, their power spike is actually going to be fairly significant, as in Lycan does a lot of damage.
Yes.
So if he gets to hit the tower for a little while, you're not going to be able to heal it pick up the tree armor if it dies in like 5 seconds, which could be what NaVi's game plan is going to be, as they do have that book 3 available again on Dendy.
A lot of the core's damage on NaVi's side is very much so predicated on the supports landing their stuns. I mean, they can hit very hard, but without those disables, I think PL, Beastmaster, Shadow Fiend could just run away. Let's see if our style is going to find that swap. Let's see if Soneko is going to find that echo. Here, another siege up on the high ground. They will have all 5. The Howls are coming up on the Spiders. Spiders being micro away from the raises, but the up a big bunch of them. I like this to bring out here immediate self Yules. Is he on the wrong side? BKB being used. The echo is gonna come out. No! Huge damage output here. Meanwhile, Ake on the backline taking a ton of damage, and that big back will if he's heroes alive one at a time. Buyback coming out from the Bane. I'm not sure if that's gonna do anything. But Volt's dropping low. His BKB is running out. Fissure hits on everybody. Huge blinking from Soneko. No enchant gonna follow up. Everybody's dropping low. Denny finds yet another kill. That's 4 kills so far, counting in the buyback. Armor Bulldog down to half HP, and I believe NaVi has finally broken up the high ground. They will take down the tier 3 tower. Without this tier 3, the Rax is fully open. They're in a lot of trouble.
I think art style just allowed them to crack high ground with that swap. Like, even though the Yule's timing was really nice from Pycat, as the melee Rax is dropping lower and lower here, they're not going to be able to salvage this one, but Funnick is getting pretty low. 4 staff away coming in from Soneko, going to keep Funnick alive for the time being. he just got annihilated by physical damage. Like, he popped his BKB, and then Pycat just dropped.
Couldn't even get off his Requiem.
Yeah, he died before the Requiem was even finished, and that was in the duration of a BKB, and also a BKB that he freshly purchased. So NaVi picked a very opportune time to push, when maybe they didn't know 100%, but they could have been fairly confident in seeing the item pick up and just saying, he probably can't buy his way back into the game. And they find the opportunity for one swap, get melee racks out of that. Now, again, Alliance still have the opportunity to come back from this, but it's going to be a lot harder when you're racks down.
I think ultimately, like, if you look over Ake, right, currently he has Ogre Club Point Booster and a Staff of Wizardry. That's essentially 3,000 gold into an item that isn't, for example, a Solar Crest, which would help the Shadow Fiend immensely in that situation.
I mean, in hindsight, yeah, like having a Medallion or a Solar Crest on a team would have been a very, very good pickup. And even Bulldog, I think, could have gone back for it at some point, given he already has his core up. If you want to go for Refresher, also a very solid choice to be able to have the double roar, double book combo. But it's kind of difficult because in that situation, I don't really think there's any saving Pycat. Like, maybe he gets that Requiem off before he dies.
I think getting the Requiem off is a big part. I mean, the damage reduction alone, the fact that you kill essentially all the minions and summons, or at least damage. I mean, we're looking at 2 Necrobooks and wolves and spiders.
My god, look at how fast it dies.
Roshan has fallen
Not
to
even
the
like
dire.
5 seconds, and it's just 100 to 0.
I'm saying if he got off the Requiem, you would reduce Navi's damage significantly just from damage reduction alone, as well as killing all the summons. So I think the team fight would have been a lot different.
Okay. So you're saying that maybe if he would have been like maybe like a second or two longer.
Right, because it's not just a solo Requiem, right? He'll get the actual Requiem and then his Death Requiem. That's a lot of damage.
Most in his middle lane. This is a very nice pickoff for the side of the Lions.
Is it a double
going
pickoff?
to be Aegis. I don't know if they can do it twice. Did they have Overburst still? Ake has it. Pops the BKB, but Ake can throw it out right now, but it's too late. He manages to walk out of range. The Fiend's going to get canceled here, and Pycat now on the run for Funnic and Vos, both inside their BKBs. That's going to be a self-fuel. Soneko with the block on Bulldog, and they're going to be able to clean out both of them with ease. Alliance now walking down that middle lane. Dendi board, he wants more. He's looking for Loda. He's totally out of mana, has just enough for a doppelganger. Actually up to the high ground. He will be able to get himself to safety. Sonic looking for another fissure, but the rest of the team is not close enough. I gotta say, man, Sonico has just been on a next level every single time this guy play.
Yeah, he's looking for more right now. Ake barely walks away from the stun, but critical thing right now is that Navi is that kind of lineup that could just break base, and here he comes. A tier tower will be going on very quickly. Arstyle getting focused by the illusions. He's dropping low, and the PL illusions trying to give chase. Somehow Alliance is actually holding this. In fact, they're chasing out. Soneko blinks back. He's looking for that fissure to at least help his allies out. Meanwhile, Fun's going back in. He sees Effing Matt. He will get Effing Matt with the help of Dendi. He's going for more. Ake goes into Viz, will barely survive, and Loda looks like he's going to pick up a freebie, I think. Nobody is dying. Everybody's just running back and forth, and Navi will retreat. That was not too bad for Navi, considering the they lost the team, and they didn't lose any Raxas out of that.
You mean for Alliance?
For Alliance, yeah.
Yeah, Alliance lost a couple there, but I mean, losing Bulldog and Pycat again, Pycat's item progression is completely halted at this point.
Right.
He's been at around the same net worth for the past like 5+ minutes, and that is not really great on a Shadow game. Like, that hero excels at flash farming, so to be able to hold a player of Pycat's caliber down for this long, that's not a good sign. Like, you really want to make sure, at this point, even getting like an Assault Cuirass or something going on the team, even just picking up a Vlad's for the armor would be so nice for Alliance. Their heroes are just getting mauled by the Lycan at this point, and the Brood, who goes for that Desolator build. So as soon as they get on you, you just can't really do anything about it. Like, there's no way, even with BKB, Pycat can stand there and try to roleplay it.
It's one that they talk about the item choices of Alliance, because they built their items, the double BOTs on Admiral Bulldog as well as Loda, the Agonist on the tree. They saw this game going much longer with them having these Raxes up.
That was the game plan.
Right, and frankly, when they were building those items, those were the right items. Here comes a Punk Roar on Volos, and he's taking a ton of damage. They have the lockdown Overgrowth. This time we'll hit immediate BKB out from Volos. He's going to be fine on the high ground here. Effing Man in a lot of trouble. He will just walk out. Swap coming back in there to focus on the Admiral Bulldog. He's going to get burst down very quickly. Soneko, 2-man Echo, 2-man Wave. It bursts down Ake, who drops the gem, and they're going to bring down Pycat as well. That's 4 for nothing. And Navi, they're going to actually push high ground very quickly. Hold that thought. Lotus Illusion, at the very least, is burning all of Vol's mana.
Navi are actually pretty low at the moment. I think he use cheese there or give it to someone else? I know Havos had cheese in his inventory. He must have popped up and then get mana burn to get hit by the illusions after the fact. So they did make him expend that. But they are going to be going down here, getting the tier 2. It's going to be too much of a problem with NaVi. I don't know if they have enough time. Okay, yeah, they're killing that mid. Maybe they do have
a ton of time.
That damage is insane.
I mean, look at the heroes that come back. It's a blade who cannot defend towers. It's living armor true, which could essentially slow down the for a fraction of a second. And then Beastmaster coming back in 15, and by that time, your Raxes are dead.
Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous how fast they kill. They have these Alkirans on a lock-in. They got the Desolator on top of it. It's going to be another set of racks going the way of NaVi. All they really have to do is walk out of here without losing anyone. They're more than happy with that exchange.
Tower is under attack.
Can Alliance make a comeback?
It's a really hard game to make a comeback in now. The only thing that I question from Alliance is the fact Pycat went for mech and then Yules.
Yes.
Maybe he just thought that the way the game was going, if he had more of a solo impact, that he could buy time for the PL to farm. Like, that's what I assume his logic was. Because with the Yules, you actually have solo kill potential on a lot of the heroes on NaVi during that mid-game phase. And he did have a pretty decent recovery. But after seeing the Yules played out, of course, hindsight, it's very easy to say what could have been better, but just anything that would allow him to right-click a little against this team or tank up a little bit more. I think maybe he was also thinking of Yules' defensive utility. It just never really worked out for him.
Yeah, I mean, again, going back to if he got swapped, the Yules was essentially as good as it could have gone.
Yeah.
And it was still enough. We were talking about Shadow Fiend's item build a little bit earlier. I was thinking some sort of just immensely tanky physical aspect. Like, you go mech, which was what it started with, Dominator, BKB into Talisman Butterfly, in which if you get swapped, you pop BKB, you're looking at magic immunity and a ton of armor, a ton of evasion, which, I mean, in the face of all these Necrobook and the damage output, maybe that would be enough. I'm not sure. Again, High Science 2020, and I'm sure you're going to have a little to think about his item choice after this game, but for now, NaVi is threatening to get the last set of racks.
We'll see if NaVi are able to stem the tide here. This is going to be by far the hardest push to stop. Just in terms of what net worth NaVi has in comparison to Alliance right now, the lead is astronomical at this point. And again, Pycat, still same net worth as he was 5 minutes ago. Well, I said 5 minutes prior to that, he still hadn't gotten any more money. So his items are pretty much the same. He has almost max souls. He's one short, so Requiem's going to be dealing a pretty hefty amount of damage. It's just sort of, I think NaVi are almost relied upon to make a mistake at this point and their high ground push. And they might even just say, we don't need to end it right now. We can wait out the next like 6-7 minutes for Roshan.
You can. I mean, they got complete map control. Right now, Alliance's gold is essentially halted. Loda's farming / defending their base. But I think the more important thing is about Loda getting farm, but like you said, about Pycat getting farm, and to a lesser extent, Admiral Bulldog getting the next item as well.
I really think that from Pycat's perspective, this is supposed to be a lot more around Loda dealing with the Lycan, and then Pycat just being able to sit in the back, pop his mech, and get a Requiem off, and play more of a utility role until he got more farm.
Right.
Because even though he started off the game in one of the best possible ways by getting first blood and the bounty rune, Sonico ruined that start for him, like, single-handedly. So if I'm looking back on this game, I'm just looking at the Shaker going, why did you do this to me? But Roar on the Sonico here, they're going to burn all of his mana. Bulldog, he gets swamped in, though, annihilated immediately. Overgrowth coming in from Ake, hits on 3 members of NaVi. Artstyle after trying to walk away. Fiend's Grip now onto Funnick. They managed to get 2 here. Alliance somehow managing to defend this. Then you're going to be forced to likely blink away here. Very impressive that they managed to get a 2-for-1. I guess it was just because Sonico had no mana. Like, he got burned by the book as soon as the Roar came out, and even though Bulldog traded his life for it, it was a very opportunistic trade.
You can see how important the Earthshaker dropping the Echo Slam is, because if you don't, that PL, again, they don't have an answer for that PL. He gets to run free and deal all the damage output. Also, the critical thing is that Shadow Fiend got off his Requiem in a very safe position on the back line. Sure, the damage wasn't impressive, but the fact that all the summons as well as the damage reduction applied on Navi's side, the Lycan wasn't really hitting that hard.
Well, he was Overgrowth, too.
Yeah, well,
he preemptively,
right.
Yeah, both preemptively BKB'd, and as soon as the Overgrowth came out, Ake was very, very patient with it, waited until all of them pretty much BKB'd, and then he's just like, oh yeah, free 3-man Overgrowth, 9 BKBs. So that was pretty much a perfect team fight from Alliance, at least in this situation. Like, given the lead NaVi have, just getting that, I mean, they fought that with a 30,000 gold deficit.
Yeah.
and they managed to go that trade. It's insane.
Okay, so look towards Highcat's item choice. He's got Blue Dagger. You know, we were talking about how he needs to pick up item to tank up, but his way of doing it is to not get hit at all, which obviously...
It's not a bad way to play it.
Right, if you can pull that off, it's good, but it's...
The other thing, too, is the synergy between having a Fiend's and an Ogre come out. Like, if Ake manages to find a situation again, and they can get a Requiem based off of that, it would be very, very nice. They're getting duels here on a Sonico. Highcat gonna pop the BKB. Arts goes for the defensive swap. Highcat now just using the Requiem for damage reduction and a little bit of a slow, but Bulldog, he's gonna go down straight away. Doesn't even get the roar off. It's a double kill for Dendi as Bane drops as well. They're turning around right now, just killing the books, looking like they want to chase a little bit more. Loda making his way out here. He is afflicted by the Veil, by the way, just in case anyone doesn't know. You always see that little purple haze on you if you are PL, even on the enemy. Ake, though, getting caught out inside of the woods as well by a book, and Avos just chomps down with a couple of right clicks.
Why do you think that Alliance decided to leave their base to chase for a kill like that? It was a very good blink forward by the Shadow Fiend.
Radiant's bottom tower
Well,
is under
Echo
attack.
Slam here on the Loda. Is that a Hex as well? Yeah, he's out of there. I think this might just, this might be
GG.
Radiant's bottom barracks
a very well played game by NaVi, I have to say. And at the beginning of the game, after watching the way the lanes rolled out, I actually thought that Alliance had a chance to kind of drag it on because they dealt with Funnick very well during the mid game. They kicked him out of the woods multiple times. They picked off a lot of the members of NaVi, and it felt for a while that PL was going to get to that inevitability factor where he was just too much. But NaVi, they go up high ground that one time, they punish Pycat for not having buyback, and they take that mid-racks, and that just seemed like all the momentum they needed to win.
I mean,